Let me tell you about this guy.
I'll tell you about this fucker right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got me a gift.
No, I wouldn't say I got you a gift.
You got me a gift. How nice of you to bring me a gift.
We got a gift, and it is your job to do the work and open it up.
You brought me a gift. I appreciate you buying me things.
You're welcome, son.
I didn't know it was like that here on this podcast. We buy each other gifts. Oh, good. Styrofoam. It's just what I've always wanted.
I thought you might be hungry.
Okay. Let's see. Get rid of that. Holy shit. It's a new mug. It's a new... Get this fucking cock out of the way here.
This cocky touch.
It's a new... Wait, is that the new mug? They're the same.
No, but look, we fixed it. The handle.
Oh, I see. Much better. Now I can...
So we can take the error mug. Now it's collectible.
Collectible. So... So I'm not complaining.
Uh-huh.
My only issue with this mug is that I don't think I ever hold coffee in my left hand. But you know, we gotta respect the left-handed people. They're not respected enough, I think. So I think that they deserve some respect and love.
I guess I just presumed you're left-handed because you were just that weird.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. We'll put it right in front of our cock here. The people that are just listening are gonna be very confused. We got a new friend. He's our mascot for the podcast for today.
Well, the cock was only $15.
That's true. He's got it painted right on his ass. But China. See, I like this one more because the but China part sticks on my right, and then then the left hand.
You want the but China mug?
Yeah, the but China mug.
Found the guy that says but China.
Well, that's true. Which is kind of weird for you because you are Asian. So
yeah. I get called every Asian slang. Might as well claim every Asian, right?
But China. There you go. Is your butt China mug.
Oh, and it's bigger. Mine's bigger. Now we have evidence. There we go.
But
Can't really
China.
read it.
I'm glad you said that once, and that's just what we're going with
I said it twice.
Oh, you're right. You forcefully said it the second time.
Well, if you're going to make something a thing, you gotta make
just gotta keep saying it, right? Yep. Just like I'm gonna keep saying, "Look at our cock" this whole episode.
I know. So
you can't demonetize me. That's what it is.
Yeah. This is Charlie the cock.
Charlie the cock. That's his new name. His name's Charlie. This is our cock. He's very pretty.
He might be our mascot. I think a cock is probably a decent mascot for us.
Fuck your generation. A cock is our mascot. I like it.
All right.
So eventually one day when we've grown in subscribers, by the way, we have 41 people that subscribe. Not necessarily actively listen, but subscribe.
Well, we'll get them there. We'll get them there. You actually have to listen.
Yeah. So, one day when we have whatever subscriber amount we decide, well, you will be able to actually buy these things.
Well, actually, there's going to be a link soon where you can buy these things. So we just need our 41 subscribers to buy 1 million of these things each.
Each of you need to buy 10.
Oh, I thought I said 1 million.
Well, 1 million, 10. I'm off by a factor of a couple hundred or whatever, but each of you need to buy 10. And then that way, if 41 people buy 10 of these mugs, I'm sure we can quit our day jobs. We'll maybe put that cock on a t-shirt. You guys can wear it.
Yeah, that might be something to work on.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good idea.
The F your generation cock.
Yeah, the F your generation cock. We could sell 2 versions, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
One's a cock, the other one's a cock. You don't know which one you get when you order. Oh, man.
So they used to be
God.
called roosters.
Well, that's no fun, though.
Cock came first.
Yeah. How can I confuse the listeners if I say rooster? They know what a rooster is.
The cock came before the rooster.
Right. Right. The cock came before the rooster and before the egg. If the Christians are to be believed.
Do you want to explain this cock on the table at all?
I don't. What's to explain? I don't think there's any explanation needed.
All right. So there it is.
There's a rooster on the table. His name's Charlie. Mike likes to pet it, and he was
just stroking the cock.
He was $14.99.
Yeah, got a little tail for $14.99.
Type 2 for $14.99. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, basically people talk about, like, you know, especially in this generation, right? We'd like to talk about what we're worth and all of those things.
Nothing.
And, well, you don't know, because a little, like, you know, big brain tip. If you check your ass, it actually tells you what you're worth, just like this cock. There's a barcode and everything. So go to a friend, get them to check your butthole, and tell them and ask them what you're worth.
Hey, Frankie, come over here. I want to look at your ass to see how much you're worth.
Right. And if something ends up going in, you're worth a lot.
There's so much wrong with you. So much wrong with you. Speaking of so much wrong with you, I go away for a weekend. And I
don't know what you're talking about.
I find something that was non-sanctioned, unauthorized, not previously discussed.
Uh-huh.
So I queued it up if you want to play it.
Okay. All right. I can pull up what you're talking about. So Mike is talking about a TikTok that I made.
Yeah.
If we want to call it that. It's a piece of content. This is grade A content right here. This is what all the kids are doing these days. So this is a trend on TikTok. This song has become very popular over the last couple of weeks on TikTok. And then people have started changing the song into what they have a thing for. So most of, just some background if you're not familiar with this trend, most of the trend that is being posted are basic white girls talking about how they have a thing for these guys with beards and tattoos, and they wear boots and work a blue collar 9 to 5 and all of that shit. And then
they don't have student loan debt
because their dads didn't love them. And then the guys on here are taking it in the most obvious way that a guy would. They're making it more about ridiculous things than they are about things that they want in a woman, or, you know, whatever. And then also the guy's response to most of them and their replies are, you couldn't even handle a guy like this. So stop asking. So, and that's kind of what this song starts out with. But anyways, I'll play this funness for you guys.
Shut up and play.
I got a thing for the Harley on ice. Short days and long nights. Marbles at the window. Middle finger to the sky. I got a thing for the Harley on ice.
So as you can see, there's a dude wipes in the background, and I'm posting this from the toilet. Just so that you guys know, you should watch the TikToks that I post, and I think that you guys should feel some sort of special about them, because every piece of content that I post besides the main podcast video is posted from the toilet.
Oh my God.
Every single one. That's my time to post content. So if you think our content is shit,
it literally
do you know
is.
why?
It literally is.
Yep.
So You got a thing for posting TikToks from the toilet. What else on here?
Which I'm doing. Yep.
On ice, short days and long nights.
Small content creators. Yeah, to support but we're small content creators. That's what we are.
Really, really small.
Right. Really, really small. Charlie's not very big. So, you know, we're just small content creators. But yours is bigger than mine, as you said.
Ice, marbles at the window.
DoorDash.
I mean,
obviously.
yeah,
You
obviously.
DoorDash from like 3 blocks from your house.
Right. Obviously,
I
DoorDash.
actually was over in Wenatchee with my parents while you were filming this crazy TikTok. And I actually drove by your old apartment and where the restaurants were and told them that you DoorDash from there to there. They're like, my mom hit me because, okay, the Vietnamese women, when you make them angry, they'll hit you. You make them laugh, they hit you. My mom was like, are you kidding me? It's like, about to practice, you know? I used to, like, if I'm going to tell a joke, I used to get my dad between me and my mom so that she ends up hitting my dad. But, yeah, so.
That's funny. So what did they think? I mean,
They thought you were nuts.
That sounds about right. If I was somebody from a third world country driving around with my son and he was like, oh yeah, the person that I'm trying to do this, like, you know, really important content related thing with, yeah, he DoorDashes 3 blocks from his house. I'm sure I would be shocked too.
Yeah, it's like, and considering we actually parked at that parking lot at that down by the Riverwalk, and we walked 1.5 miles, and so you take that into perspective, you're 3 blocks. It's like, is he crazy or something? It's only 3 blocks away. You can just walk there. It'll take you 2 minutes.
Oh man. Not my proudest moments, but you know, I own them. It's okay. I still love DoorDash. I'm still waiting for them to sponsor me.
Do they DoorDash here?
No, they don't. It's actually really unfortunate. Actually, they do. That's not true. There are 3 places that DoorDash. There is Subway, Burger King, and a pizza place, and they are all in at least an hour long DoorDash from here.
Well, it gives you a good map, right? Because you set the DoorDash for the
Yeah.
map.
I set it up. You know, they come knock on the door or whatever. The problem is now I have a gate, right? So I can't just wait for them to come ring the doorbell. I gotta actually walk out to the gate because I don't know the
And it
code
defeats
or
the whole
whatever.
purpose of
Right, defeats the
DoorDash.
whole purpose. Right. It is if I was not willing to drive 2 blocks down the road to get the food, I'm sure it's not walking out that door and going down to the gate to get the food.
Tell them to park at the top and walk in.
I give you extra tip. Just walk in. Come to our casting couch.
Oh.
Okay, and then
Middle finger to the sky.
the last thing is shitting on boomers, which I felt it was appropriate. I was posting, you know, TikToks from the toilet. We shit on boomers all the time on this podcast and in our TikToks. So
When was the last time you really shat on boomers, though?
it has been a while. It's been quite a few episodes. Like, we went on that rant about them in episode 2, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then I don't know. We brought it up every once in a while, and it's kind of died off a little bit. It's been a
We need
while.
to shit on some boomers again.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find a way. They're pretty easy to do that.
Yeah. They're actually the leading presidential candidates right now.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I did in my
All
free
right.
time this weekend.
So we're agreed that you're never doing this again.
No, actually, the suggestion that I got was that we're gonna have you do this. We're gonna have you make one of these. Well, I'll find a new trend for you.
I don't have a
Something
TikTok.
unrelated. Oh, you do, sir.
I do not have a TikTok.
You do. You co-host this podcast. You do have a
Oh,
TikTok.
okay. All right. I see what you're saying. I have just a tick, not a talk.
Right. You have the tick. Right.
Oy vey. And this is what Gen Zers do. Make shit up from the toilet.
Yes. Well, it's at least what I do.
So, as long as we're talking about stupid things, what is it with Gen Z and Apple products? The cult of Apple, the iPhone, this turd of a product right here.
You had some strong feelings there.
It's trash. So I have Android and Apple. I only have this thing because of work.
Yeah, see, there's no case on it, so you obviously don't give two shits about it.
Every freaking day.
Okay, so I'm gonna enlighten you a little bit here.
The cult?
Actually the opposite of what you think. So I don't know generationally if it's a debate, right? Obviously you're kind of like throwing it out there that like I got the hint that you don't like it maybe. But the Gen Z generation, my generation, there's actually not a cult with Apple products. It is very, very divided between the two. And there is a constant ongoing debate of videos and social media posts and things like that about which one is better and why the other one sucks. So it's actually very controversial in my generation.
All right. So we're saying that this thing exists because of millennials then.
Well, I don't remember his age, but I think that thing exists because of what would have been Gen X at the time.
Well, they wouldn't exist if people didn't buy it.
So I can give you. So I have owned Apple and Android products, but I'll be more specific because typically the argument is between Apple and Samsung and not necessarily Apple against general Android.
Well, yeah, that's just for phones, but then you have Apple Mac versus PC, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know anybody who uses a Mac and does not use an iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's like, I've got to be fully engrossed in this cult.
Yes. Yes, 100%. So 100%. So that's where I'm going. So I've owned both. I've owned Apple iPhone and typically I owned Samsung's Galaxy Note series. Okay. And I flip-flopped between the two probably for the last 10 to 15 years. I've had one
flip-flopper.
Yeah. So I've gone back and forth. And ultimately I came back to Apple, and that what you're talking about is one of the main reasons I did. So, like spec wise between the two, personally, there's almost no difference, right? They accomplish the same task. They're basically just as fast as each other, blah, 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 whatever, right? But the Apple does a extremely good job at integrating their products between each other. And I was starting to have issues with the integration between, because I like wearing a smartwatch and using like some sort of wireless headphones. And Apple did the best job for me, in my opinion, at integrating those three things together really well. And so that's what brought me back, because I preferred the Apple Watch and the Apple AirPods over Samsung's watch and wireless headphones. So that's what kind of brought me back, because neither of them are really that great at being interchangeable. So I can't be like, I'm wearing Samsung but listen to AirPods, because they work but not as well. You lose half the features when you do stuff like that. So I preferred their other two products that I use all the time, and I was okay with switching phones, because for me it wasn't like there was that big of a difference in what I'm using it for.
All right, so the watch, the earbuds, the phone. You have a Mac?
I don't anymore, but I did. So just to be clear, I had the phone, the watch, the AirPods, a Mac, and an iPad. The iPad and Mac almost did the exact same thing, which is why I got rid of the Mac. So I sold the Mac, but I still have the iPad. But yeah, I've got those 4 devices.
But you also have a PC.
Yes, I do have a PC.
So PC or iPad?
Well, my PC, 100%. But my PC I mainly use for editing and gaming, which the Mac does well on one of those things, or does okay at one of those things, but not the other. Like, there's almost no gaming potential on a Mac. Whereas the PC is, especially like my tower at home, is almost limitless with the components that I can switch out. Whereas like on a laptop or a Mac, Mac laptop, which is what most people typically use, there's none of that. So I prefer to game and be able to do that, which is why I prefer the PC.
Okay. So you are never going to go unfound with all the devices that you wear.
Exactly. I will not get lost.
Well, you might get lost, but you will be found.
Right. I will be found.
Oh, vey. Yeah, so no watches, no earbuds. I just have a phone. I have the good phone and I have the Apple phone. So I hate this thing because it is the opposite of intuitive for me.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of surprised that you say that, because typically the response, as I understand it from other people and all of those things, is that the older generations prefer the iPhone because what I understand from them is that to them it's much more simplistic. So I'm kind of surprised that you feel like it's not as intuitive for you.
No, it's just like, it's not in the slightest. There's nothing is where I would think it would be, So, yeah, I hates it. So tell me about this split in Gen Z. What is the root of this? I thought it was generational. I thought you kids were just dumber than the average bear and decided to go with the dumber product. But so what is the big beef? Like, what is it that the cult of Apple people, dig their heels on, and then the Samsung people say you're all morons about?
Okay. Do you want to know what the Apple people dig their heels on?
Yeah.
The green bubbles that show up in their chat.
Oh, dear Lord.
So it's kind of like what you just said, right? Apple does a really great job at integrating all of their products with each other. So when you text me from so you see how those bubbles are blue? You're scrolling through, right? So when you text somebody that's on an Android from an Apple device, it's green bubbles. And so basically you have all of these features inside of iMessage that you can use, kind of like, have you ever used Facebook Messenger? Okay, so Facebook Messenger, when you're talking to two people on Messenger, you have all of these added features that I doubt that you use, but but plenty of people do, that comes with talking to somebody on the same platform. So when you're talking to people on two different platforms, one is SMS and one is Apple's internal iMessage platform, it starts to screw up the way that things get put across, right? Emojis don't work the same way, reactions to messages don't work the same way, and adding different effects and things like that, or sharing images and stuff like that, doesn't work the same way. So that is one thing that like Apple people will shit on. It's also a privilege thing. Like, they're like, oh, fucking poor people, Android users can't afford an iPhone. So it's one of those things too. And it's like, oh, but you're poor, right? You're below me. One of those types of things, right? I haven't heard this argument much, but and even though it you can go both ways with this argument, but I have heard also people bring up the whole like American company versus non-American company, which most Android products are not. But considering all of the pieces from Apple come from China, I don't think it makes any difference. But that's one of their like some things that sometimes people will make the argument about. The Samsung people typically make the point of what I just made, that they feel like Apple products are too simplistic, and so they're too restrictive with what they do. So Android-based operating systems seem to be open to everything and can kind of accept everything. Like, you sending stuff to Apple, to them, or whatever, is open. You can download apps that don't actually exist on the App Store with Android and things like that, and you can do more that's less restricted. Also for like people that are in like some sort of like programming or like things like that, there's a lot more capabilities from that perspective on a Android phone, because a lot of the apps or things that you would use from like a browser or stuff like that tend to open up better than an Apple device.
So what I'm hearing is Android is for smarter people.
I don't know if I'd call it smarter. I think it's just a different.
I
think it's just a different kind of people, right? It depends on what you're using your device for. I doubt that any of those things I said, that's what you're using your device for. So I don't know if it will really matter for you, except just the look of it and the feel and what you like to, like you said, for you it's not intuitive. But I don't know. For me, I'm definitely the person that's like. For me, it's like politics. I'm in the middle, right? Like I really like things on both sides. I just prefer Apple's extra devices, so my iPhone works better with all of those things. I just plus Elon Musk uses an iPhone, so if that doesn't sell it for me right there, I don't know what will.
Back to Elon. He still hasn't contacted us or sponsored us.
Yeah, he still hasn't sponsored us. It's it's kind of messed up. Like we've talked about him at least twice on this podcast now. I don't.
Well, he wants a lot of kids, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Why don't you just have him adopt you, and you can just add to that list?
Well, did you just see that the media just found out that he had a third kid?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, that don't keep up on the Elon lore, right? And this has nothing to do with anything, but what's his name? Isaac. I can't remember his last name. He's a super famous author that has written a lot of biographies on many people influential in tech. So like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all these people. Like I think Bill
Isaac
Gates.
Asimov.
Yeah, sure. and so I think that's his name, or Walter, something like that. And I can't remember off the top of my head right this minute. I was just looking at it today, but basically he just wrote a biography on Elon Musk that just came out. I think the pre-order started a few weeks ago, and that just came out today. So they, in that biography, I think he talks about this third kid that he had with her name is Grimes, or I think that's what she goes by. I don't think that's her legal name or whatever. She's a singer, but he's had 3 kids with her now. And so that came out, and nobody really knew about it. So people were just talking about it. The media found out about it and was talking about it. And I think his kid's name is, it's like something Mechanus or something like that. Yeah, it's an interesting name, but his last 2 kids have been very interestingly named. So
what are their names?
One of them is named, how you say it is X, but it's like spelled like Aeouyx or something like that. It's something very different and out there.
Is Elon an alien?
I'm probably. It's really the only explanation. Probably. The man's running he's like the CEO of like 6 companies. More than likely he's an alien.
People go up to him in private and just like it. Voltaire.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't remember why this came up. Oh yeah, Elon uses an iPhone, so that I rest my case. The defense rests.
What does Zuckerberg use?
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Elon's a Gen X guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Zuckerberg's a millennial.
I think technically, yeah. I think he
They're gonna
is,
duke
right?
it out.
Yeah, supposedly. We've all been waiting for it. It's interesting because you see both sides. They talk about like it's the other person's fault for why they haven't yet. But it was funny because Elon Musk, they like took a route on one of their full self-driving videos to the public address of where like Mark Zuckerberg lives. They were like, oh, we're going to pull up and show up at his house or whatever. So that was kind of funny, like a bit that they did. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully one day.
You think it's all work?
You know, there's probably a good chance that it is, but yeah. So obviously everybody has their own opinions about him and what they think, and I don't know him, so you know, it's hard to say, but Elon seems like a pretty straightforward person about things. I feel like if it's a game or like a work, he would just flat out say it. I feel like that is what gets people riled up with him is when he's like, exposes or like says things like that.
Right. But if it's your joke, you don't give it away, right?
Yeah.
So if he's actually doing this to screw with
like
the population, right?
Yeah.
So that's what a work is.
Yeah.
Where two people are pretending something to get over on.
I mean, maybe. Like, there's probably a good chance that it is. Or it's a bit for him and not the other person, or vice versa, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it might be.
So I see Elon Musk as having a personality and a sense of humor, and I think Zuckerberg is just a robot.
I think Elon has autism, and so I think what happens a lot is that he says things and he has a hard time, as with autism, like expressing and using the body language as like a joke. And so people take things very seriously, and then he's like, no, like, I'm just fucking kidding. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just a joke. He talked about that a little bit on, cause he was on Saturday Night Live and he hosted a show. And he was, I think he announced he was the first person with autism to come and host that show. But yeah, so I think that's where people like misconstrued him, is because like he says things and he's like, no, like, I'm just kidding. But it's really hard to tell with his facial expressions.
I get that.
So yeah,
people sometimes don't know when I'm joking.
You say you have autism?
No. I don't have autism.
I thought I found the root cause.
No, the root cause is I spent 3 years in the infantry.
Yeah.
That's the root cause of my problem.
So you just say everything with a straight face?
Yeah. And I'm bad at filtering myself. That's why you're there. We're editing that out.
Right.
Dadgum father mucking bun of a sitch.
Yep, exactly. That's why you're not the editor. But yeah, so it's pretty controversial. That my generation doesn't have like a standard phone that they use. They all use different types, and it's typically Samsung and like Samsung versus Apple, but not always. So there you go. The more you know.
What do you think about your glasses?
I like them. It's a new type for me. I've never worn like anything that's got like a clear like lens or like a grayed out lens or whatever. So I don't know. I like them. They're different. What do you think about your glasses?
What glasses?
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
I think I need a
prescriptions
prescription.
now, right? Think you need a new prescription?
Yeah.
Not strong enough?
No, these are actually transition, and I hate transition.
Oh. Like transition for like the sun, or like they're
Well, both.
yeah.
And so it's like,
They're bifocal transitions.
yeah. And so
I wore bifocals for a long time. These are not because I just switched to just the distance. I think a couple of years ago, but
I think yours is very fitting for your personality because they look like something you would find as an accessory with the Barbie and Ken doll or something.
oh goodness.
It's just basically the clear plastic except for the thing. So it's like I feel like I remember these things as a kid. And they're like really tiny, and you had to pick them up and try to put them on.
It just really fits this kind of, this kind of person right here. Just
You look ridiculous.
that was the point. That was the entire point. All of these girls are posting this seriously of like, oh, I want this man that's blue collar and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I want to post something ridiculous that's related to this. And, tried to hop on the trend. I think they could see it didn't get a lot of views, but I tried to hop on the trend. Got 8 likes.
You can see everything in your glasses.
Yep.
All the reflection and everything.
Yeah. You can see my phone. You can see the sink.
Yeah.
That was the point, though. The point was to look ridiculous.
I guess it's a good thing that you weren't, pantsless in this video.
I mean, that you could tell.
I have to get closer and look in the reflections. I'm afraid of what I'll find.
No, I was wearing shorts when I made that video. I made sure to check my reflections and things like that before I posted. I don't want my cock out, for everybody to see.
Just this one.
Yeah, just
Charlie.
Yeah.
So, what is the phone preference of the millennials then? If you're saying Gen Z is torn, is millennials the one that's like bought the iPhone to the point of being sold out that they decided they can make the next one and the next one after that, the next one after that?
You're really not happy about this, huh?
Yeah, you're right. I'm not happy because it gets thrust upon me.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. I mean, nobody would like anything to be thrusted upon them.
So maybe it's my company's fault for not providing options.
Not an option. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know as far as millennials go. I think it's still divided. Just to be honest with you, I think it's divided a lot of the way up. Like people just have their preference. I've noticed I noticed it tends to be a majority of people that have iPhones, but I don't know, for Gen Z, I see a really large mix. Like a lot of like the friend groups that I'm in, we have some sort of mix between the two. So I don't know about millennials though.
I know my parents have Android.
Mm-hmm.
I have Android.
Mm-hmm.
My sibling has an Android.
Yep.
So I just presume Gen Xers prefer Android.
Yep. Surprised the Asians have Androids.
Well, it's smart people stuff.
They're just more intuitive for your culture.
Well, Asian people made it for Asian people, I guess.
Right, exactly.
All right.
Right, just when you.
So I'm not saying the Apple cultists are stupid, but...
Oh, you're like that video I posted a few weeks ago. It's like, I have a theory, but, that's just my theory. I'm not saying you're stupid, but...
Exactly. This is be a little passive-aggressive here.
But you may be a little.
I'm told I have to be nice. I can't start calling people names again because there's this person over here who's like, oh, we're going to have to edit that out, don't you?
Okay, listen. It's the social things that you start calling people that's the problem. It's not a problem with me. It's a problem with them. Or the people that review this before it goes up on certain platforms.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And one day we may make a couple of pennies off of this video. And we need to be able to keep those pennies so that we can buy more cocks for our desk.
You're all about the cock.
All about the cock. Yeah. How else am I going to keep buying my Apple products?
So we got to shut it down. No more Apple products. I don't even like apples to eat. So
yeah, I noticed that. I went in the fridge the other day. I thought they were apples. There's fucking peaches.
Peaches are the way to go.
I'm not saying peaches aren't good. I just
nice, firm, round peach.
Okay, this has gone on long enough. So you don't like Apple. That's okay. No worries. No one's blaming you. I blame your company for forcing it upon you.
All right. I would say their name, but they're not sponsoring the podcast, so no advertising for them.
No free advertising for them. Do we know where this came from?
It's probably China. But China.
Yeah, but I was hoping there was is this like a QR thing on the back of his ass? What the fuck is happening back
Why are
here?
you pulling his anus out?
I just can't help it.
Don't touch him there.
Okay, well, Elon, asking again, sponsor us. Carnival Cruise Line from that one episode, sponsor us. DoorDash especially, I've made some content for you guys. We had a whole episode.
He's basically used you so much that he's a co-owner.
Right. The fact that I actually don't own stock in them is insane.
Yeah.
I keep that company alive. Should definitely do that. One day you guys will be able to buy our merch with China and all of those good things.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yep.
When I say we, I mean somebody else. But
Somebody else is working on it. We'll get there. That'll be a milestone at some point. So, all right. Thanks for staying in.
Peace be the journey.
Sign off.
And junk.
Sign off and junk. Yeah. Bye. Make sure to say hi to our cock.